Are you ready? Let's go!
Don't you sometimes just want to talk about everything? You know, there's days when you can just talk about anything. Need to sit back and chat about nothing at all? Nothing But Julie, coming at you with fun and creative topics and interviews.
Did you hear Julie's podcast? She's got the greatest topics.
Come join the chat about everything, anything, and nothing. So unwind and tune in to Nothing But Julie. Great topics and cool interviews with some pretty awesome people. And now, without further delay, here's Nothing But Julie.
Everybody, this is Julie Schrager and Rhonda Marie. Thanks so much for joining us. This is Nothing But Julie podcast, and today we have a little treat for you guys. We wanted to do something fun and comedic and funny in this crazy, serious world, and so we decided that we were going to ask each other some silly, funny questions, which I thought is a really good idea, because why not have a funny podcast? How you doing, Rhonda?
I'm good, Julie. How are you?
I'm good. How was your weekend?
It was pretty good, except the migraine from yesterday. So,
people that don't know, Rhonda every now and then gets migraine headaches, and this was a doozy.
It was
a doozy, but she is feeling better today. So yay! I'm glad that we are able to get together and do our thing. How's the weather there in Arizona? We're in Florida, and it's finally like in the mid 60s and drier, so it's we can breathe again. How's it over there?
So today it's 64, and our high is 70 and our low is 36. So like when I get up in the morning to go feed the horses, it's putting on the heavy jacket and everything, but then by mid-morning it's warm again. So it's just really that early morning trip to the barn that has me cold.
Are you like in the desert where it gets?
We are.
So does that mean that it gets really cold at night? Because I know you said 36, but is it like that in the summer as well?
It's not. It does cool down quite a bit though. So we'll be over 100 during the day, 110, 111. And then at night it will drop to, 70, which is not cold. But when you go from 110 to 70, it feels cold.
I can imagine. My husband and I, we went to Las Vegas years ago. And, being from Florida, and this, you're used to the heat, just like in Arizona. But the difference is that we have all that humidity in Florida. But in Vegas, and I'm assuming Arizona, it's more of that dry heat.
It is.
I have to tell you, I actually liked Florida at that time when I was in Vegas because of the humidity. There was something about the dry heat that got me. I went through a bottle of water. We were going down the strip to visit all the different hotels, and I couldn't make it from one hotel to the next without drinking a whole bottle of water. It was summer, so it's got to be at least 110 there. Oh my God. I don't, how do you deal with 110 degree weather in the summer?
There's just, it's hot. Like it's just hot. Basically the only thing you can do is stay inside. And, you can't even really go to a pool because the water gets so warm. It's like being in a bath.
Oh.
So it's not even, you get in the pool because you want it to be refreshing. But when we first moved here, we lived in an apartment complex and they had several pools. And so when we first, like the beginning of summer, it was fine. But by the time, the 110, and it's hotter in Phoenix. So it would get up to like 117, 118 there. The pool water is 90 degrees.
Oh,
and so you just get in and you're like, well, this is not refreshing. So
right.
a lot of indoor activities during the middle of the day.
Same here. But, I remember when we went to Las Vegas, my husband had told me something about, I'm not exactly sure how they do it, but the pool water at these hotels stay cold because they have some kind of like freezing effect below it where they keep it at like a certain temperature to actually, so like the same way that they, like a pool heater works is how this works, but obviously the opposite temperature. And I was like, no, 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 please. And I went into the pool and it was so cool. And
That
it
would be
was,
nice.
I know, and it was so hot outside. So it was refreshing. So I wonder like if that's something that you could do at your home. I'm sure it might be expensive, but
Oh,
I just can you imagine if you
we
could like have something like that at home?
right.
Like if you have a pool there or something?
You'd have to run it off of solar here
Mm.
because it's so sun. I mean, it's so sunny all the time that solar is a good option out here. But yeah, that would be nice. We actually have to like because we have horses. Their water will get really warm, and so we
Yeah.
have to either buy blocks of ice or something just to so that they're not drinking hot water.
How are they in the summer? How do you keep them cool or can
Well,
they deal with the heat better?
um, well, one, two, three of our horses are Arizona natives, so they're used to it. The
Okay.
only one that really had problems was we have a horse that's from Wyoming, and she's been here about 2 years now. And the first summer was pretty difficult for her because well, she's black, first of all, so
Yeah,
she
yeah.
attracts the sun,
Right.
and she just wasn't prepared for it. But I mean, we go out there and hose them off in the middle of the day, and they all have shade, so
I can relate with the black hair because I have very dark hair too. And being in Florida, I most of the time have to wear like a hat or just something because my hair not only gets so hot, but then I wind up getting a really, really bad headache and I get dehydrated very fast. And I know it sounds like, yeah, right. I'm not kidding.
no,
I get,
it's true.
yeah, I can totally understand. Oh, poor babies. All right. So do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
You can ask the first question. I'm super excited to see
Okay,
what these
let's
questions
see.
are.
Okay. I'm trying to pick, like, I do have quite a few, but I never pick like the ones that I thought were like the funniest ones or even the best ones. Okay. I'm going to give you like kind of a trick question, but I know you're very smart, so I know you'll be able to figure this one out. Okay. What's wrong but sounds right? And it's not a personal question. I'm going to be giving you personal questions too, but I just thought I'd start off being
So this
funny.
is
So,
like a riddle. What's
like a mind trick.
wrong
Yeah.
but
What's
sounds
wrong but
right?
sounds right?
Oh, I don't know.
You want me to give you another one? I'll give you another
I,
one that's not so goofy.
well, I
Okay.
want to know the answer to that one too, though.
I don't think there is an answer.
There
It's
isn't an
just,
answer.
excuse me. No, I got it from a website and it's just like a conversation starter kind of website and it's just left up to your imagination. I
Ooh,
know. I know. I just thought that that one was kind of interesting.
it is.
Okay. What is your favorite color? Let's start off with that.
Oh, my favorite color. My favorite color of all time is purple, but
Oh.
I can't, and I don't even wear a lot of purple. I just think it's a beautiful color, and I don't decorate with it. I don't know. I just like it. But I like different colors for different things. Like, of course, I have horses, and so you put them in fancy colors. And I have so much stuff for like the horses or for that because I cannot just pick one.
Wait, did you ever see Breaking Bad?
Yes.
Okay. That was in New Mexico, I think. Do
Yeah.
you remember I can't remember his name, but the sister-in-law
Oh, yes. And her whole house was
was
purple.
purple
I
and
know
it
when
was
we
beautiful.
That's what I said. I was like, look, that is so pretty. I said, but I don't know that I could do it because I tend to get tired of it. Like
Mm,
the if and it's if you looked in my house, you would see that like the stuff that stays all the time is very neutral. And then
hmm
there will be other things that are easily replaced that are the colors.
Well, you can do like a pop of purple here and there, like a throw pillow or a vase or something that has just
Yeah.
like a little pop. So you can have some purple.
Yeah, that's what I need to do.
Okay, so this is part two.
Okay.
And has nothing to do with part one. But who do you go out of your way to be nice to? Or
Oh,
is there a certain type of person that
okay.
you might go out of your way to be nice to?
Yes. People who, when you're in a store and someone's being like especially rude, they're rude
Yes.
to I go out of my way to be extra nice to those people.
Mm.
And I don't know if it's like because they don't deserve it or
It's like killing them with
like right,
kindness.
killing them with kindness. So I just go extra out of my way to be nice to them, but also to service people, people who work in gas stations or restaurants or any type of job like that. I feel like I feel like people are often rude to them, and they do an important job. We need them to function. And so I go out of my way to be nice to people who work in the service industry as well.
Well, that's very nice of you. But you know what? My mom taught me kill them with kindness. It's kind of like a double-edged sword. One, you're being really nice, but at the same time, you're kind of being a jerk.
Yes, I think
like
that's it too. I think that's part of it. Like, yeah, you're being super nice, but you're kind of being a jerk. And, I just remember this one interaction with a teacher that I worked with, and she's one of my really great friends. We go back and forth and pick at each other, and great friends. And I saw another teacher come into her room one day while we were having a conversation, and she was so polite to that woman. And I was like, that was a weird interaction, after the other teacher left. He said, that was a weird interaction. Like, I've never seen you act like that. She said, I am exceedingly polite to people that I don't like. She said, because what are they going to do? Like, she knows that I'm acting different with her, but what is she going to do about it? Is she going to go to our boss and say, well, she's really polite to me? There's nothing you can do. You can tell that you don't like someone if you're being like that, because you're not joking around with them. You're being very formal and polite, but they have no room to complain about you.
But think of that, though. Think of it. I mean, where really can they go with it?
Right. You cannot go and tattle on someone for being overly polite to you.
Oh my goodness. And I've seen, and I know you and I discuss TikTok often, and I've seen a lot of these like videos on TikTok where people will like record an interaction that they have with someone. Mm-hmm. And instead of kind of being a jerk, they'll be really nice. And the other person eventually just gives up, because what else can they do?
Right. You just can't get someone that just keeps being polite to you.
Well, that's true. And I think that, like when my mom said that to me when I was young, when you're young and your mom or your caretaker says to ignore them, that's like the worst thing to say to a kid, because right. When you're a kid, you don't know, like, it's like, why would I do that? That's so ridiculous. But then when you get older, it's like, oh, I wish that I listened, because you realize that when you ignore them, it's like the best thing you can possibly do.
Right. You're taking away all of their power.
Yes. Oh, that's good. You're taking away their power. Yes, absolutely. Yes. All right.
Okay. So I have a question for you.
Brace myself.
Is cereal soup? Why or why not?
Is cereal soup?
Yes.
Oh my God. Absolutely not. No. Cereal is just cereal. No, I actually am an avid soup eater. I do love eating. I mean, like when I was a kid, all I ever did was eat soup. And now I soup, but I don't have it like from the aluminum cans. Like I have the organic, the cardboard box thing. Cereal is just that. It's cold. It's with cold milk, with dairy, and it's almost like a treat. But I tend to think that soup can be a little more healthier. And if you're sick or if it's cold out, it's like comfort food,
It is.
Yeah. So no, I absolutely do not think that they are one and the same. Oh my God.
I think of cereal as a treat as well.
Yeah.
Like to me, it's like if I want something that's kind of sweet, but still semi-healthy, we try to buy mostly like at least a semi-healthy cereal. Semi-healthy. Yeah. I mean, so we try to, buy something, but it's still sweet. It's all sweet.
It is, so my husband recently started drinking almond milk or having almond milk, like if he has cereal or a smoothie or what did he start using it with? I can't remember. He started off with it for something, but I can't remember exactly what it was. But it's the sweeter almond milk. There's a sweet and unsweet. So he's kind of gotten away from the milk, but not the actual like sweetness, but it's less fat and it's more nutritious. But anyway, that is actually a treat in itself when you just have like almond milk by itself, but when you have it in with like cereal. But for me, like the only time I ever have any kind of dairy is like when I indulge with like having some cheese or when I have cereal. Like the other night I had, Special K with some bananas and milk. But that was like, a nighttime treat for me because it's like a lot of carbs. But I figured, it's Special K. It's bananas. It can't be that bad.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. We get like the Special K, and then there's some fruit in there, and I'm like, oh, this is healthy.
Right. Exactly.
It's got to be certainly better than sitting down with the box of Oreos.
Oh, can I just tell you, I am so glad that you brought that up. When my sister and I were kids, my mom would get Oreos, and she would take the Oreo cookies and put them in like a cookie jar. So every time my sister and I would get Oreos, you could hear the clanking of the glass of the cookie jar. And I think my mom was very smart. She did that on purpose. So she could hear how many times we were going to the cookie jar. My sister, oh God, she's going to hear this and kill me, would take as many Oreo cookies as she can in the biggest glass that we had, and add Oreo cookies and milk, and then smush them up, almost like cookies and cream ice cream, but not frozen,
Oh, yes.
Anyway, she would eat this with a spoon and leave the glasses, the crusty glasses, in her room. And my mom would go nuts because she could never get them fully clean because they would just harden. And like at the end of the week, when my mom would like clean the room, there were like, 5 glasses of like crusted Oreos inside.
Oh my God, that would be the worst.
I know, but look, she doesn't eat like that anymore. But I'll tell you, God, that's making me think. Go out and get like some double stuffed Oreo cookies and dip them in milk tonight.
We got some. And we have no self-control. Mark and I, we don't have self-control. So we don't often buy like cookies or things in the house because if it's there, we will eat it.
Right.
But we won't leave the house to go get it, so we're safe if we don't already have it. But when I wasn't feeling good Sunday, and then it rolled into Monday. So when he went to go pick up my step kiddo on Sunday, he comes back, and I had asked him to get a couple things at the store, and he comes back with the Christmas Oreos. So they're red. They don't taste any different, but they're red. So he was like, well, these are festive. And so
I have to tell you, God bless our guys, because I will not go to the supermarket and pick out any of that stuff. But if my husband gets it, forget it. It's all over. Right.
And that's exactly the same thing. He knows I won't buy it.
Right.
But he knows that I'll eat it if he buys it.
Have you ever had a Malamar before?
Yes.
Oh, come on. Right? I have them. Rhonda, I have them in my house. I have them. And I'll tell you something, they're gone like in a day. I eat them, my husband, my son, but I got them this time. And because they're not around all year round. They're only around like a certain time of the year. But there's something about these Malamars. I don't know if it's, because they're like s'mores, but not hot. You know? Oh,
right.
Okay. Moving on. You ready for your question?
I am.
Okay. What makes your eyes roll every time? I'm sorry. What makes you roll your eyes every time you hear it?
Oh, there's so many things right now.
I know. And isn't it hard to think of it when a question is posed to you?
It is. It makes my eyes roll when I hear the people that are talking about like my rights. These are my rights as an American, and the stuff that they say is so far off from what is actually their rights.
I hear you. Yeah.
Like when I see an especially like racist thing, and they're like, well, that's my right. Well, it's not, because hate speech is not one of those protected things. So but rather than argue with them at this point, I just roll my eyes. Also, my stepdaughter has a habit of saying, I know, but still, like when you correct her on something. So if you correct her on something like, hey, Aubrey, don't do that. I know, but still.
That's very cute.
And so I just roll my eyes now because I'm like, I know you already know this.
That's so funny.
But
such a typical. And how old is she again? 9?
She's 9.
Oh my God, she sounds like a teenager already. Right?
I think they become teenagers earlier and earlier because
yes,
she has such this little attitude sometimes. And I'm like, what?
Yeah,
Who are you?
I know. And young girls are getting their periods so much earlier now
We
than,
had to get her a little bra,
oh,
like at
honey.
9.
Really?
And she's,
Wow.
yeah, and she's like, this is very uncomfortable. And I'm like, I know, sister, get used to it.
Oh
Like,
God. I know. First of all, it sucks, right? And it's probably the bra is probably the best worst invention in the world. I hate it. I really
right.
hate it. But
It's
I'll
like the first thing you do when you get home and you know you're not
take it
going out
off.
again is take off the
But can
bra.
I just tell you, and I'm going to get a little personal, so I hope everyone that listens, because we have such a huge audience, I hope that, I hope that you all enjoy what I'm about to say. My boobs have gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. So when I take my bra off, they just like kind of flop, right? And I feel like I need something underneath that because there's friction.
Right. No, yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean.
And so, because I walk dogs and it gets very, very hot in the summer, even when I have a bra on, I have it's like a bra liner, and you can put it like right under your
Yeah,
bra or
to
under
soak
your
up the
actual boobs.
sweat.
Soak up the
Yes,
sweat or
no,
just prevent the friggin'
I have
friction,
to do the
right?
same thing. And
Oh my
it's
God.
so
Annoying.
annoying.
There, roll your eyes.
Yes.
Roll your eyes because of the boob sweat. Did you ever see that oh God, it's like a contraption. It's like you put it around your neck and it falls. Okay, so like imagine like a scarf, if you will, and it goes around your neck but down to where your boobs are, and it's got like a soft cup, and it actually holds up each boob by around your
Like a
neck. I
sling.
have to like a sling, like a boob sling. And I'm thinking to myself, but how is it that women that are well endowed, doesn't that hurt their neck after a while?
I would think
You
so
know?
because you hear about like back problems. Like my boyfriend's
Yes.
mom actually had to have a reduction because she has rheumatoid arthritis and like a lot of issues with her back, and she had to get a reduction
Mm.
because of the pain.
You know, my sister-in-law did that maybe about 20 years ago, maybe a little longer. And I've been thinking about it. I'm not like well endowed, but I'm small. I'm a teeny person. And you know, to have like heavy boobs, as you get older, you know, it's like pulling you down,
I think,
you know?
I'm a small person as well. Like I'm short, I just have a tiny frame. So
Right.
like, and then, like you said, I have these big boobs and I'm like, they're just, why? I want less, and then, people who
I
don't have
know.
any boobs are like, oh, you shouldn't say that. And I'm like, well, everybody wants what someone else has. So,
Well, it's true. Someone that has straight hair and someone that has curly hair, they each want the opposite. As someone that has dark hair and someone has light hair. Oh, I wish I had your dark hair. You know, it's always something, but I don't know. We'll see. I apparently take after my grandmother on my father's side, who died well before I was born. She was well endowed and teeny also. But this all like happened after I had my son. Like they just kept getting bigger and bigger. Ugh. Anyway, okay. You're up.
okay,
It's a good conversation
it
about
is.
boobs.
What is something that used to be considered trashy, but now is considered trendy?
God, are you kidding me? What was considered trashy that's now trendy?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, that's a tough one. Oh boy. That's a hard one. Maybe, huh. Oh God, I'm having a hard time with that one. I don't know what was trashy. Maybe certain colors, like a certain color lipstick.
Oh,
Um, you know, uh, maybe goth colors, you know, like the dark kind of mysterious colors have become more trendy now because of certain people like what's her name? Cat something.
the
She's the
tattoo,
tattoo
Kat Von D, right?
Von
Von D.
D. So she's very goth.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that maybe a while ago people were looked or frowned upon that were goth because maybe they were so dark. But now it's become such a trend because of the makeup that I think people can wear because of it. I don't know. That's a really, are we talking recent or are we
I,
talking
you
like,
know,
can it be in the past?
just I guess whenever. I was thinking like, like visible tattoos.
I was just going to say tattoos. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
huge now. And again, and Kat Von D, I mean, she's got them on her face and her neck. But you know who's gorgeous? What's his name? David Beckham,
Oh,
who's,
yes. And
you know who he is?
yes.
So, right. And Adam Levine, like they have tattoos everywhere and there's something sexy about it.
That is
This, I
true.
mean,
Yes.
I love a good David Beckham, Adam Levine fold. Did you ever see the Adam Levine picture of where he's like totally naked? Um, I think he's like sitting or standing next to a motorcycle, and all you see is a woman's hands covering his area.
Oh, no.
You never
I
saw? Oh my
haven't
God.
seen that. I'm gonna have to look that up now.
Oh, I just thought of one. I just thought of one. Mom jeans. Mom
Oh,
jeans.
yes.
And not that they were never
They
trashy,
just
but
were
I'm
not.
just, do you know that how many kids are now wearing mom
Yes.
jeans? It's become a thing.
Yes.
It's very trendy.
Yes, and you know what? I'm happy for it because those low-waisted, like those when those
Oh,
low jeans like on your hips were in style, that's not my thing.
I know that
Like,
was it would show like your whole muffin what they call that your
oh yeah, everything.
yeah, I never loved
And
those. You have to be really thin.
that's what I think. You have to be really thin and not just like you have to be in shape
You
thin
have to be in shape.
because
But I never liked the feel. I felt like I always had to keep pulling them up,
that's exactly
right?
how I feel. Like I had to keep pulling my pants up and I just don't I don't enjoy that.
I
So
don't. Oh, that was a good question. That one caught me by surprise. Okay. This is a good one. How do you judge a person?
oh, I'd like to say that I never judge anyone on their appearance, but
Mm-hmm.
that's just not true.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, looks at people and has a certain thing in their mind. I try not to let that keep me from getting to know them. Um, but by the way they treat other people is my biggest thing.
Yeah.
Especially like by the way they treat other people that they're not that aren't doing anything for them.
Right.
Like someone who can't help them anyway, like, how they talk about, homeless people or, people that cannot help them in any way. I feel
Right.
like that's a pretty good indication of someone's character.
Hmm. Yeah. And you know what? Look, we're all guilty of it. No matter what we want to say, we do. We're a judgmental society, I think.
We are.
But I agree. And I think that we touched on this as well, that, as I've gotten older, I have been less and less judgy to the point where like I absolutely don't care, what you look like, what you wear, who you are. Where years ago, if I wanted to establish a friendship, yeah, there were times when I might say, I don't
Yeah.
know, and because of this and that. But now it's like, because we spoke about friendships, I just think as long as you're a decent person, I don't care about anything else,
Yeah.
So,
No.
yeah. All right. Good answer. Good answer. All right. You're up.
Okay.
I'm scared.
Let's see. You're scared.
That was a tough one last time.
Okay. The dumbest way you have injured yourself.
Dumbest way I've injured myself. God, I've injured myself so many times. It's really hard. Let me start off by saying that I have black and blue marks, bruises all over my body, and I can't even remember half the time what they're from because I'm always banging into things and bumping into things. And I guess I have very sensitive bones or skin because I literally bruise, like I take after my grandfather. I bruise a lot. But I think that I remember when I was a kid, I was a huge tomboy. And I was skateboarding. I had just gotten my mom and dad had bought me a skateboard, and I'm skateboarding and I'm trying to be all adventurous. And I remember sticking my hand in a bush in the corner of my house that we had, excuse me. And my parents were pulling out of the driveway. Come on, Julie, we have to go. We have to go. I'm like, okay. And my mom was like, what are you doing? Why is your hand in the bush? And I'm like, Rhonda, I can't remember what my answer was, but I remember when I pulled out my hand, there was the biggest daddy long legs that I have ever seen on my hand. And
No.
I got so scared. I started screaming. My mom didn't know what was going on. She was right next to me. Unbeknownst to me, she opened the passenger door, and I went running and slammed my body right into the open door. Just like it was just like what? But that's probably the only thing I can think of. And I wound up really, hurting my shoulder, but that's it. That's all I can remember, except for the time when my husband and I were wrestling. We used to wrestle a lot, like funny, silly wrestling. And I
Hmm.
had just given birth to my son, maybe 3 weeks prior. We're being silly, and he wound up falling on me, and he's 6'4". He fell on me, and my thumb snapped backwards. And I wound
Oh
up, yeah, I
no.
wound up breaking my thumb on my right hand that I use all the time with a newborn. Oh my God. It was so painful. And I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. It was just where you just know, oh shit, this is not going to be good. This is not going to be good.
This,
And
yeah,
it
you just
wasn't.
knew the second it happened.
Oh,
Oh, I
but
bet not.
right. But the good thing is that, the cast was really just reset. Like they reset. Oh, that was lovely. They reset my thumb, and I just had a cast like on my thumb going around my hand, but I was still able to use it. Does that make sense?
Okay.
I was still,
Yeah,
yeah, I was
yeah.
still able to use it. But
You
yeah,
could.
I mean, that's all I can remember because I've hurt myself so many times that I really can't remember like one really, really good one except for and that daddy long legs, Rhonda, I am not kidding. It had an orange center. It looked like,
Oh
yeah,
God.
it looked like an orange, an actual little like clementine orange that was like cut with just these oh God, I'm thinking about
Oh,
it now and I'm getting disgusted. Ugh, I'm not a big fan of spiders. I don't know anyone that is, but can you imagine? Oh, for goodness sake. Okay.
okay.
Okay, my turn. So,
Your turn. Yes.
I'm going through some of these questions and I'm debating on which one I want to ask you. Okay. Well, and I'm not going to ask this because this was kind of like the trendy question. Ah, if magic was real, what spell would you try to learn first? If you don't like that question, I got plenty of others.
Oh, if magic was real, I would want a spell that like did all the housework.
Ooh.
Like the Mary Poppins style, or just it just everything put itself away, the laundry folded itself, the dishes washed themselves.
Right.
I feel like that would be the most helpful for my life.
That's a good one. I wouldn't have even thought of that, but now that you said it, isn't that such a shame that this is what we think about, like cleaning the house? Because this is our life.
I know you can have any spell in the world, and this is what you're gonna
But
pick.
it's a good one because it's such a pain in the ass and so time consuming, right?
it is. I would free up so much time, and then I would never be. You know how things that the people you live with, like, not everybody cleans the house the same way.
Yes.
And some people do things that you just. I don't like it when people drop their stuff off on the counters,
Mm.
or like their shoes or wherever they took them off.
Yes.
So that is a source of like, and of course we have a 9-year-old in the house. So of course where her shoes come off is where she thinks they go. Or like, she comes in and puts her backpack down like on the couch. And I'm like, take that to your room. You have a desk, like, and then, there's like, my boyfriend does it too, like setting stuff on the dining room table.
Mm.
And I just feel like if I had that magic spell, that stuff would just magically go where it's supposed to.
It's a good one. I like that one. And I agree with you too, because I mean, you have a 9-year-old and she's a girl, but I have two men and no matter what I say, no matter what I do, it just happens over and over and over again, no matter how much I try to get them to stop. Whatever it is,
Yeah,
it just keeps reoccurring.
it does. It does. I actually, and it was to the point with my ex-husband and my son. It was to the point that it was like huge arguments over it because they would dump their stuff on this kitchen counter that kind of jutted out that we had. And I was like, that's not what that's for. And it got so bad that I brought it up in therapy.
Oh,
And
wow.
my therapist, yeah, it was because it was causing these big fights in our home, and I was like, what? And I felt, so it became that I felt like they weren't respecting me was the thing. Like why it kept happening. They weren't respecting me.
Yeah.
And so my therapist taught me about radical acceptance. And she's like, it doesn't mean that you accept behavior. It just means that you're not going to let it control you.
Ooh.
And so I try to practice that now. And I'm just like,
but you know what?
okay.
Okay, I don't disagree with your therapist. I actually think that's great advice. But can I just say one thing? Don't you also get that feeling of that if you were to say any one thing about cleaning the house or putting things away, that like they're going to be like, oh, there she goes again. You know, she's coming.
Yes.
And I hate that, because maybe you should think about this. If you didn't keep doing what you shouldn't be doing, I would not have to say it. Like, it's you
Right.
that's the cause of the problem, not me. So just,
you know, and I gotta say, like, I wasn't saying anything to Mark for a long time. So he didn't even know that it bothered me, because I was trying to just accept it. And when I finally told him, he really makes an effort not to do it now.
That's great.
So
that's great.
He does. But it's just the 9-year-old. And I'm like, how do you have so much stuff? How is it everywhere? It's just everywhere. Like,
it doesn't end. It's endless.
It doesn't end, you know, like you have too many things.
Yeah, but you know what? You're guilty of that too, because you probably get her a lot of stuff too, probably like I did when my son was young.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. It's all the time. It's nonstop. I know sometimes we have to be like, Christmas is coming, so you're not getting this because you have to wait until Christmas now.
Right. Well, you know, I have to tell you something, and maybe you can give me your thoughts on this. So, okay, my son's 24. We celebrate Hanukkah, and we only have one child, and you know, we usually get him, you know, a nice gift, you know, for that time of year. When he was a kid,
right,
he would get several gifts. As he got older, he would get less gifts, but they would be, you know, maybe
higher end value.
More higher end. Right. So
Yes.
now that he's 24, I said to my husband, screw this. He's 24 years old. When does it end? But then I said, but I get such enjoyment out of giving my son something once a year for his birthday, once a year for Hanukkah. Why does there have to be an age limit? So my husband and I agreed. My son, he's still at home, and that's because we want him to be at home to save money, and so he can afford to live on his own eventually. He works 6 days a week. He makes very decent money. He's a saver, blah, blah, blah. He, on his off days, which are very few and far between, he'll either see his friends, work out, and or play in a video game on his computer. So I said to my husband, he's been seeing the chiropractor more recently than ever before. And it has a lot to do with being on his feet at work and not sitting in a very good chair at work and at home. And I said, what if we got him a really comfortable chair, like a video game chair? And so my husband said, yeah, let's do it. And that's when I was like, should we really still be doing this? And then we both agreed, like, forget about the quote norm or what other people think or what other people might be doing. What do we want to do? And he knows that I love giving gifts. So why not? So how do you feel about that? Is there an age limit?
I don't think there is an age limit. So we don't do a lot of gifts. Last year we after we looked at what we had spent on our kids at Christmas, and my son was 19 then, and you know, she was 8. So after we looked at that, we decided to adopt the 4 gift policy, and we're doing that for both of them. So it's something you want, something you need, something to wear, something to read.
Oh, great idea.
And then it's, you know, it hits like a lot of bases. And so we're doing that. And then, you know, he doesn't hit his siblings that have children. They don't want us to send anything. So we don't send anything to them, just a card. And I send stuff to my nieces, but that's pretty much it. I mean, we get for the 2 of us getting each other gifts, we just buy something that we want for the house. Like we want an air fryer. So we're going to buy ourselves an air fryer for Christmas. And that's our gift for each other.
I've heard great things about those air fryers.
Me too.
Aw. Well, that's a good idea. So, okay, good. At least you agree, you know, that there's really no age limit.
I don't think so. You know, I think for me, it would be like if they were not appreciative of it.
I agree.
What would make me stop.
I agree.
Because I love giving people gifts. I mean, and I did buy my sister like some stuff, a thing this year, and it's just because I saw something from a friend who makes stuff and has a small business, and I knew my sister would love it, and so I bought that for her.
Right.
And I feel like that just helps out two people. It helps out my friend with the small business,
Perfect.
and then my sister. You know, she's gonna. I've always liked to give people really good gifts because I like to see them open it.
Aw.
So that's something I've always done. So I don't think that there's an age limit for getting people gifts.
Then good.
Like I said, I think the only way I would stop is if they were like, oh yeah, thanks, you know, and then just completely, you know, disregarded your thoughtfulness.
Yeah, you know, my mom stopped giving both my sister and myself gifts up until we have like a prominent birthday, like 45, 50, 55, and started doing that with her grandkids as well. So the grandkids don't get any gifts until they hit a milestone. And I don't agree with it, but that's my mom, you know. But like my son's going to be turning 25 and he keeps saying, "Ooh, I can't wait until June. You know, what is grandma going to give me?"
Hinting
Hint,
around.
hint.
It's a milestone. Hint, hint.
But you know, I too, I like to give thoughtful gifts and think of like what would the person really like and maybe something unique and fun. And if that's something that I think I enjoy or you enjoy or others enjoy, why should you take that away from yourself and how wonderful that person will feel once they get the gift. So good. I'm glad we spoke about it because I don't have to, you know, it was like an immediate, like, as soon as I said, screw it, he's 24. We're like 5 seconds later, I'm like, no, I want to still get him something.
No, yeah.
Okay, you're up or I'm up.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Okay, well, that's kind of the same as your magic one. Yeah. So, okay, what is a song that would be played on a loop in hell?
What kind of questions are these? Played on a loop in hell?
Yes.
God, why is it the first thing I think about is like I don't know, like Black Sabbath. What was that song? Oh God. I'm thinking of a Black Sabbath song in my head, but I don't know the name of it. Oh my God. I can't think of it. I think of like Headbangers songs. You know?
I don't know the names of any of those, but anything that's like heavy metal, I think would be mine.
A heavy metal with the hair and, you know, them banging, like going back and forth. And I'm thinking also Ozzy Osbourne, but I know, how about Highway to Hell by AC/DC? Highway to Hell.
You know, I think any song, if you played it on a loop and it was just nonstop, after a while, you would feel like you were in hell. Even if you loved the song, it wouldn't matter.
You know, can I just tell you that you just reminded me of my honeymoon? We went to Aruba and we stayed at this place and they had, did you ever hear Boz Scaggs?
Uh-huh.
They had him and only him with his songs on a constant loop. So you heard the same song every day, like 100 times a day. And I felt like I was in hell. I'm on my honeymoon and I felt like I was in hell. It was in the elevator. Everywhere you went, it was Boz Scaggs. And I remember that I think I might have heard one of the songs like a year later. And I got so angry. Just like, get this off. It was such a bad memory.
No. I worked in H&M when I was a teacher still as a second job. And they would send us a CD and that was all you could play. And so it's like 45 minutes and it was the same stuff over and over. And we would get so excited for Christmas it to switch over because it was a new CD. It was still only an hour long and it was the same stuff over and over, but at least it was a different hour of stuff than what we had previously
luckier than I was. You know what would be funny? I just thought of this. You know, who was it that said, you light up my life? Oh, Debbie Boone. Remember that song, Debbie Boone, You Light Up My Life? Okay. Can you imagine that being played over and over and over again? I guess it doesn't have to be a hell song like you said. It could just be like a song where it's just like really something like Bubblegum Pop, like some really like Britney Spears playing over and over.
Over and over.
And over again. Oh, baby, baby.
Oh, no. It was
Oh my God. All right. What is the craziest conversation you have overheard? And if there isn't one, I can give you
Oh,
another question.
I can't really. I overheard a woman once on a speakerphone in the grocery store talking about her gynecological appointment.
No.
Yeah, with her friend, like in the grocery store. So you can hear both sides of the conversation. They're on speakerphone. And she was just, talking about it like in detail. And I mean, it was just
That's
really, I just
ugh.
kind of, you just kind of look at someone and you're like, you can't wait to have this conversation till you get home. Yeah.
Oh my, that's actually a good answer. A
Yeah,
gynecological
it was
discussion.
not.
God,
Mhm.
that's horrible.
Yeah, nobody wants to discuss that in the grocery store.
I mean, I don't think anyone really likes to discuss it in general. Isn't that usually like something personal?
That's what I think, like I don't I don't
I don't know
know
either.
why you
All right, let me ask you
would
another question then. If animals could talk, which animal would be the most annoying?
the most annoying goats.
Oh, don't they do like with their tongue?
Yeah, I mean, we have two goats, and I had them as a kid, and I remember them being funny and playful, and they are, but they're very annoying as well. And so I feel like if they could talk, it would just be nonstop, even worse.
Aw, goats. I love that you have goats
They
too. Sounds like so much fun
they
where you
are
live.
very cute. It's we have 19 animals,
Oh, I didn't know
so
that.
it's a
Wow.
yes, yeah. So it's a lot, but you know what? I love them.
What other
So
animals do
and
you have? I know you've got the goats. I know that you have the horses and some dogs. What else do you have?
we have
Oh.
cats, and we have a guinea pig, and then we have four chickens and two
Do
ducks.
you get eggs from the chick? Wait, do you get eggs from chickens or roosters? I always forget. No, chickens.
You get
Yeah.
eggs from chickens, and well, they're not old enough yet,
Oh,
but we will get eggs from them.
that's
So,
wonderful.
and that was one of the reasons I wanted them. I'm afraid of birds. So I know we talked about that
Yes.
in our fears podcast. I'm afraid
Right.
of birds. So, I don't touch them. I feed them. They're not friendly anyway. The ducks are kind of friendly, but I just keep telling them, I call them lazy freeloaders, and keep telling them, you need to start laying your eggs because
You're freeloading.
it's not just a free, yeah, it's not just a free ride
How old
forever.
is a chicken normally when they start laying eggs?
You know what? I cannot, I mean, of course we had them when I was growing up, and I cannot remember because we got these chickens probably in like April when they were little tiny
Aw.
babies. So I'm thinking any day now. I don't know though exactly when they're going to start.
I
I,
find it very fascinating, like just like the whole like chicken egg thing. And I
oh yeah,
mean, I went to this, I don't even know what it was. It was like a produce place, but they had this whole outdoors thing and it said, follow here for the chickens. And I'm thinking, oh, I get to feed chickens. Yay. No, they were little teeny baby chickens for you to buy and to have, not to eat, to just, to have.
just
And I'm
have,
thinking, I have never in my life seen anything like this where you can. And so this person that worked there were all different colors and whatever. And apparently there's so many different types of chickens, right,
there
that do
are.
different things. Again, something I didn't know. So that's all fascinating to me and kind of cool in a way,
Yeah, when we were buying these, they kept asking me, like, they're like, well, what kind do you want? What kind of chickens do you want? And I was like, I want female chickens that lay eggs. I have no idea what kind I want. And I said, so you just, with your knowledge, give me four of these chickens that are going to lay eggs.
I'm assuming that roosters are the male.
Roosters are the
Okay, there
males.
we go.
And
Okay.
so, they said that, okay, they told us, they said now it's 98% female chickens in this. And I said, okay, well, how do you know? They all look the same to
Yeah.
me. And he said, you really can't tell. Like, it's a whole job. A chicken sexer is an entire
Oh,
job
wow.
that somebody has.
Really?
Yeah. And he said, they get really good. They get 98% accuracy. But there's the occasional rooster in there. So I was like, watch, I got 4
Roosters.
roosters. I know that's what happened. I got the 4. But I didn't. They're all females.
Aw.
So that's good.
All right, so we
Yeah.
have time for one more question. Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, I'm nervous again. Okay, go ahead.
No, don't be nervous. Where is one place that you want to travel the most?
Israel. I have never been to
Oh,
Israel, and I've wanted to go to Israel for as long as I can remember. And there's several other places I have on my bucket list, of course, but I would say that at the top of my list, it's Israel, and go for a tour. Did you ever hear of Taglit Birthright? Okay.
yes. I have a friend who went on. I don't know much about it, but I have a friend that went a couple years ago.
Well,
So on the trip to Israel and did everything.
yeah, and it's basically I think it's like up to age 25 where it's actually free for
Yes.
those who want to go. It's free. I'm sure not everything is free, but the majority of it is for free. And they bring you on a tour with other people your age and, into the safe areas of Israel. And I've wanted my son to go forever. His friend, who is a girl that he has been friends with since 3rd grade, has gone twice. I didn't know you can go more than once, but she's gone twice and begged him to go the second time. And he's like, no, I don't care. Now, had he gone, it would have been an experience of a lifetime. And I'm like, do you know how awesome this would be for you to go? A, it's free, and B, it's our heritage, but whatever. So yeah, I would really like to go, but because of, oh God, how bad things are in the world, not just COVID, but just there are certain parts of Israel that are just unsafe. Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever get there, but yeah, Israel first, and then where do I want to go second? Either Greece or Ireland. I would probably say Ireland. I would love to be in a place like Ireland and just see the rolling hills and I have a mural in my guest room that has like the rolling hills and the greenery and everything. And I see this and I'm like, oh, I want to be there so bad. But yeah, Israel's definitely at the top of my list. I mean, I'm already 51. Like, let's go already. I want to start doing these things. But like I said, in today's world, it's just sucks.
It is. You have to be careful of where you travel.
Now, yeah.
Especially Americans, because a lot of places, and my boyfriend's been all over. He's been to like 38 countries.
Oh my goodness. Is that because of the military?
Because of the Marine Corps. Right. And so a lot of the places that he's been, he's like, I would love for us to go back, but it's not safe.
Well, that's just it.
For us to go as civilians.
And the question is, when will it be? Even once we get a handle on COVID, is there going to be as much of a handle in other countries? What is it that they're going to be doing to make it safe?
Right.
It's very scary, and a lot of things have been put on hold. And I know that I sound like a spoiled American, like, oh, I wish that I could go away. Well, I only say that because I've looked forward to traveling all my life. And, I raised my son, I've done everything I feel that I've wanted to do up to this point. And then you get to the point where, okay, now we're kind of comfortable where we can start traveling and go here and go there. And then all of a sudden you can't. And when you look forward to something your whole life, all of a sudden it's like, oh, this sucks. I know that things will get better and I know we'll be able to go. But right now we all just have to take care of each other, right? So this was a lot of fun. See, I like adding humor. This is good. We need to do something like this.
It was good.
Yeah, we have to do more things that are comical as well. But I do think that even though we can do like serious podcasts, we also do have time when you and I laugh often. So, I mean, I think there are times when we're pretty funny.
There are. We do. We are pretty funny.
We are pretty funny, right? Aren't we? So, okay. So, Rhonda, please tell everybody how they can find you.
Well, my username on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter is the Rhonda Marie. So you can find me on any of those. If you search An Accidentally Beautiful Life, you will find my podcast and my blog. So you can also find me there.
Perfect. And with me, same here. It's Nothing But Julie on all social media and where podcasts are heard. So feel free to subscribe and like the podcast. We do this every Thursday. So we hope that you enjoy it as much as we do. So I hope you have an enjoyable rest of your week and weekend and stay safe. Same to you, Rhonda. Take care.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Julie.